I ended up doing a little more post-launch work on Gunmetal Arcadia 0 this week than I had been planning. But it was important stuff. I fixed 2 crash bugs I'd seen reported a few times. I fixed a progression blocker that could happen right at the very end of the game that I'd seen reported a couple times. And then I added some options to allow you to choose between the trade-off of audio quality versus audio perf on some machines. On my own machines and debug builds, I get audio stuttering all the time, and I had a few reports of players saying that they were experiencing the same thing. So I figure, dropping back to a lower sampling rate should definitely take care of those issues. It's a little bit unfortunate that I'm having to do post-launch work for 0 now as opposed to 6 months ago, since I'm right in the middle of crunch on the roguelike game. But that sort of like supports some anecdotal evidence that I'd had to suggest that very few people actually played 0 when it came out through the Humble Monthly bundle, and I could speculate as to why that is. Maybe not having Steam keys available at the time sort of hurt its visibility, who knows. But yeah, definitely there's more eyes on the game right now, which is good. It's just unfortunate that coincides with crunching on the roguelike game when I have a limited number of work days left before I have to ship this game. So all of that is to say, I didn't get as many items done this week as I was hoping I would, but I did get, I think, 8 new items in, so let's take a look at the game and see what those look like. So as before, I've just populated this first room with a whole bunch of treasure chests. Normally you would not see this, there would be 1 chest in here. I'll just go ahead and pick all these up and figure out what's what. Turn this off too. And then come over here and play around with these new toys. Alright, so going through my inventory here, going through the things I picked up, I have the Spring Heel. This is like the Spring Heel boots in Superwind. It's a double jump, and the cool thing about this is that it also works in conjunction with the Ether, the high jump or mega jump. So I get a higher first jump, but also a higher second jump. So this is probably about as high as you'll be able to jump in the game once you've picked up every jump height bonus. But yeah, I was playing around with that a little bit and seeing how far can I push that. If you jump too high off screen, do bad things happen. And technically it holds up, so now it's just a matter of balancing it and finding what works well and what feels good. Let's see what else. Active armor, and the damage battery I talked about last week. The big bomb, this is something that I showed on Twitter the other day. It's a red bomb that has a larger blast radius, does a little more damage, and the explosion effects there are pixelated. Like, it's the regular explosion blown up twice as big, which is not something that the NES was capable of. It couldn't do sprite scaling, so that's fudging the technology a little bit. But I like the sort of campy faux retro look, and it's aligned to the pixel grid, so I feel okay doing that. Coupon Clipper, this gives you a 50% off bonus at all shops, all faction vendors, and all healing ends. The counterpart of this is the Charisma Up. This lets you sell back items for twice as much, and you can use those in conjunction to buy an item for very cheap from a vendor and then turn around and immediately sell it for a profit. I don't feel bad about that. I don't think it's too much of an exploit because you can only do that once per item. When you sell back an item, it does not go into the vendor's stock, so you can't do that repeatedly. So yeah, you might be able to earn a little cash that way. Of course, vendors already start with lower sell prices than buy prices, so that may only actually counteract what their initial sell rates are. The lockpick and master pick. The lockpick gives you a 50% chance that when you use a key to unlock a door, it will give you that key back. So you need to have at least 1 key to start with, but you have a 50% chance to save it. The master pick, it's a 100% chance. It also gives you a key when you pick this item up, so throughout the rest of the game you can unlock every door. Then, I'll show Meditative in a minute. Lottery, this is a cool one. So I don't have art for this one yet, and it's showing temp up there on the HUD. But what this does is it's a semi-active item. You press Y to use it, and it throws out coins and consumes 1 ammo. So normally the rate the exchange rate between ammo and coins is 2 coins for 1 ammo. So if you get a gold coin from this, that's worth 1, you're losing money. If you get silver, you're breaking even. Anything else, you're earning money. So it's sort of just a random chance. I'm thinking about maybe having that throw out ammo too, so it can randomly recharge itself. Sort of like the portable slot machine in The Binding of Isaac, but I might make that a separate item. You know, maybe there's no reason to double up on those sorts of things, but I'm still figuring that out. And then the last thing is, this meditative. This slows the consumption rate of ammo for active items. So if I switch over to this damage boost here, previously this had a tick rate of 1 ammo per second. With this meditative on, when I activate this, you can see it's now 1 ammo every 2 seconds. So I get twice as long to use it. And that affects, you know, any of these active items, which right now I just have the 2, the damage boost and the shield prevents damage. But hopefully I will be adding more of those, so, you know, there will be a wider array of things you can do with those. Now, since there is a locked door here, I will see if I can show off this lockpick. I'll unequip the master pick for starters. So there should be a 50% chance when I open this I will keep my key. I did lose it that time, but yeah, it's a 50% chance. And let's see, I guess beyond those new items, I've also been... Oh, here's a good example. I've been balancing vendor inventory this week. So the way vendors work now is they always have these first 3 items: ammo, keys, bombs, and those are in limited supply. And I may adjust how much those of each one of those they have, but they'll always have at least one of these. And then they have 2 items that you could also find in the blue chests. So here's the Lancer sub-weapon, and then a hollow heart. You know, it increases your health cap by 1, but doesn't fill in that hard. So yeah, I'll go ahead and buy this one. But yeah, every vendor gets 2 items, and just like the blue chests, those can only appear once per game. So if you see an item in a vendor's inventory, you'll never see it anywhere else in the game. Oh, here's a good example too. Because I have that coupon clipper upgrade, the healing in, their rate is 2 coins per heart instead of the usual 4 coins per heart. So I do get the half off bonus there. I did also make the change so that rate increases with every level. I don't remember right now what the scale is. I think it doubles every level. Or maybe it's just a multiplier by the level number, so, you know, level 2 is 2 times, level 3 is 3 times. But yeah, it does increase throughout the game. Faction vendors work similarly to regular vendors, but they always have their own sigil, so you can always take that. That's free. If I go into my inventory here, you'll see I have that. It doesn't let me equip it. It's not a thing that I can wear or equip or unequip or sell back or anything. It just sits in my inventory, always has some bonuses, and those bonuses stack. So every time I meet one of these vendors, I can take another sigil, and those bonuses increase every time. They always have, you know, ammo, keys, bombs, just like everyone else, and then they have 1 item that's, you know, of a type that you could find in a blue chest. So I will take this. All these prices are, you know, tentative. That would not cost 1 gold for real. I could sell that back for 1 too, but I don't want to. But yeah, and then of course, you know, there are the 2 factions, so, you know, because I took this sigil from this guy, other factions would not like me. I couldn't take their sigils, and if I found one of those that had an item that I wanted, I could buy it from him, but his rates would increase as a result of being on the opposing team. Something that's kind of interesting about the way those items get rolled for vendors is, like I said, each item can only appear once per game. With items that drop from blue chests, their contents are determined at the time that they are opened. So it looks to see, you know, what other items have you already found, what other items do you own, and figures out what it needs to exclude from the list of all items, so it gives you something unique. With vendors, it chooses those items at the moment that you first walk into the room containing the vendor. So for instance, this guy down here, whatever items he has were chosen as soon as I walked into this room, and now they could never appear anywhere else in the game. So for instance, he has the dual subweapon and the adjunct catalyst. So even before talking to him, even before seeing that that was what he had, those items would never have appeared anywhere else. So that's sort of an interesting side effect of the way loot rolls sort of have to be done necessarily, but it's kind of an interesting thing then when you're talking about like, faction vendors may appear later in the game, and like, I choose not to talk to this guy because he's not the faction that I chose, but then I'm like, oh wait, maybe he had something that I wanted that would never show up anywhere else. So I'm not yet sure if that's going to be sort of an interesting or fun thing, or whether it's going to be kind of just an odd side effect, but it's it's definitely something that I've been thinking about, like, it's a ramification of the way the tech necessarily has to work that could have, interesting gameplay consequences. Oh, so unrelated to items or anything, I made the first level a little bit shorter, so, I'm fighting the end boss here a little bit earlier than I would have in previous builds. It felt like the first level was it was too long, and there wasn't enough that could happen in there just because there are fewer enemies who can spawn. Oh, and I'm dead. But, so yeah, I made the first level a little shorter so you can get into what I feel is like really the meat of the game a little bit sooner. So obviously in this example here, this is very accelerated. I gave myself a whole bunch of gear right at the start of the first level, so this is not, equivalent to what you would experience playing the game for real. But I'm hoping that, across a full session, as you find new items in every level, you do sort of get that sense of escalation. It's been a couple days, maybe a week, since I did a full playthrough, so I don't really know how well that balance is holding up currently, but that's something that I will do again, if nothing else by the end of the month, once I have all these items in there and start moving on to legacy events, make sure that that sense of escalation is really clicking the way I hope it will. As always, thanks for watching. This series is supported through Patreon. I want to give a shout out to patrons Jace, Benjamin, and Opa and Nana for their contributions. You can find a link to my Patreon campaign below. There is a new patron exclusive build this week that should have gone up last Friday, so keep an eye out for that. And thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.